Sourdough blueberry scones with a sweet lemon glaze. Let's go. Guys, this is seriously the easiest sourdough discard recipe you'll ever make. You'll love it. Let's get to it. So we'll start off with our dry ingredients. To a large bowl, you want to add 2 cups of flour. 2 cups of flour. Then go ahead and add a 1/2 cup of sugar. Then you'll add 1 tablespoon of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, and now you'll take a whisk or a fork and give it a good mix. Okay, now that is good and mixed, we are gonna grate or shred 1 frozen stick of butter. You don't wanna use butter from the fridge, you do wanna make sure it's frozen. And you will most definitely get an arm workout. Halfway there. Also, if you don't have anything to shred your butter, you can cut it into tiny cubes. Okay, butter's done. So now you wanna use a pastry cutter, or you can use your hands for this part. You just really wanna get the cold butter mashed up well into the flour mixture. All right, our butter is all nice and combined. So now we'll go ahead and add 1 cup of fresh blueberries. You just wanna lightly coat them in the flour. Gently toss them around in there until they're coated. Okay, now set your dry mixture aside, and then we'll go ahead and add all of our wet ingredients to a smaller bowl. Okay, so we'll start with a 1/2 cup of sourdough discard. And if you didn't already know, sourdough discard is basically just unfed starter. Okay, next we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. You can also substitute it for milk. And then you'll add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay, and last but not least, you wanna add 1 egg. Go ahead and take a whisk or a fork and give it a good mix. Just until it's combined, you don't wanna overmix it. All right, that's good and mixed. Okay, so you missed me mixing my wet ingredients with my dry ingredients because the video cut off, but all I did was pour my wet ingredient bowl into my dry ingredient bowl and fold the wet ingredients in with a rubber spatula until you get to the point where you need to use your hand. That's exactly what I did. I just mixed it with my hand until there were no more dry pockets of flour. So this is what it'll look like. Try not to break up too many of the blueberries when you're mixing by hand because you don't want your dough to get too wet. Okay, and then you wanna lightly flour your work surface, and you wanna dump your dough out onto the work surface. This next part, you wanna form it into an 8-inch round disc. And then you'll go ahead and preheat your oven to 400 degrees, and then you'll line a baking sheet with parchment paper. So now you wanna go ahead and cut this into 8 equal pieces. So right down the middle, okay. Okay, it'll look just like that. And then now you wanna go ahead and add your cut triangles to the baking sheet. So just be careful because it can be a little bit wet. Okay, so this is what they should look like. This next part is optional, but I highly recommend it. You wanna finish your scones off with a really coarse sugar. I'm using sugar in the raw. It's a turbinado sugar, highly recommend. I'll link it on Amazon in my bio if you wanna grab some. Just go ahead and sprinkle these bad boys. Also, if you don't have turbinado sugar, you can just use regular sugar. All right, now these are gonna go into a preheated 400-degree oven for about 22 to 25 minutes. Just take them out when they're nice and golden brown. I'll be back. Okay, so while the scones are baking in the oven, we're gonna go ahead and prepare our lemon glaze. And it's super easy. It's a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and a 1/2 lemon. So just go ahead and take your 1/2 lemon and squeeze it in. Make sure you get all the juice out, and then you'll wanna take a fork and give it a good mix. And that's it. We'll set this aside and we'll brush it on when our scones come out of the oven. All right, guys, we have blueberry scones and they smell divine. Oh my gosh, look how good they look. Okay, so I did bake them for the full 25 minutes. Now you wanna go ahead and brush on your lemon glaze while they're still warm. Okay, they are good and glazed. Seriously, guys, how good does that scone look? Okay, so we obviously have to try one. Wow, these are to die for. Crunchy, moist, sweet, and tart from the lemon. They are the perfect breakfast or dessert. Let me know in the comments if you plan on making them.